Want a small car that isn't an older Hyundai i10 or a new Hyundai Atos? Look no further. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at a 2019 Suzuki Celerio 1 litre GA. It sure is cheap. Is it cheerful though?
A really big thank you to the accommodating, thoughtful and helpful staff here at ASJ Motors. They have a huge selection of quality used cars located in 2 locations in the Overberg region. One is in the industrial area of Hermanus, the other is located on the main road of Verliesdorp. They are open for business, so be sure to check out their catalogue, link in the description box below.
If you live in the Western Cape and you have an original car in good condition you would like me to review, please get in touch. There's an email address in the description box below. The first generation Celerio was released locally in 2009 as the Alto. It was developed by Maruti Suzuki and was exclusively built in India for the international market. It had a very attractive and funky design with big teardrop-shaped headlights and a huge low-slung grille. The interior was equally youthful and was very well laid out. This is the second generation that was released in 2014. This version is also manufactured in Thailand. It looks much more grown up than its predecessor, particularly from the front. It still looks funky and edgy all the same though. A nice surprise considering the price point. In profile, it looks very similar to its rivals. It is rather narrow and tall, giving it a top-heavy look. Where the i10 is very corporate-looking, the Celerio is arguably more punk and rebellious. The engine is a different story. It is a 1-litre 3-cylinder unit that produces 50 kilowatt and 90 newton-meters of torque. Not much, but at least the Celerio is light, and light on fuel as well, returning 4.7 litres per 100 kilometers. So far, I like it. What is the interior like? Step inside this little Suzuki and you will be pleasantly surprised by how attractive its cabin is. I know I am. Look, it's no Hyundai Grand i10, but considering its low price, I'm very impressed with the cabin's layout. It's very well thought out. This S-curve that divides the top and mid-tier of the dash and these circular air vents add some flair to it. I wish I could say it was original, but I've seen a very similar design in the Mark I Hyundai i10. It must be said though, it is very impressive how well all the trim pieces meet together. One thing that is seriously lacking though is any form of colour. Black plastics with white lettering seems to be the order of the day, which might make the cabin look a bit dark and dingy. Let's take a closer look though, starting with the door panel. Well, perhaps panel is the wrong word. Door card makes a bit more sense. That is because it is as thin as Kendall Jenner and as flat as the Korea Desert. 2 protrusions make up for the door grab handle armrest combo and the comically small door pocket. You don't get electric windows either. You do get a plastic trim piece that is of a different texture, but that's about it. The doors are also extremely light, and the sound they emit when you close them is very hollow and tinny. This is true for most of its rivals though. Turning to the steering wheel, I really like its sporty and engaging design. That being said, there are no buttons on the steering wheel, its rim is made out of polyurethane, and most importantly, its column is not adjustable at all. The stalks are attractive and easy to understand. They do feel a bit hollow to operate, but that is to be expected at this price point. Now for the dials, or should I say dial. You only get one dial, a speedometer. Thankfully, it is very easy to read thanks to these massive digits. Below the speedometer, you will find a blackout LCD drives information display. It communicates trip A and B information, as well as the current time and a digital fuel gauge. No rev counter, but I can let that slide. Why no water temperature gauge though? That is some extremely important information we are being denied. The Celerio has an aftermarket stereo unit that is fitted by the factory. It performs about as well as you would expect for an aftermarket unit. The buttons are far too small, the ergonomics are a bit off, and the screen real estate is seriously limited. On the other hand, you get a volume dial, which is so much better than volume buttons, and it comes quite well equipped. You get a USB input and auxiliary port, as well as FM radio for all your music needs. What is sorely lacking though is Bluetooth. Not because it is a convenience feature, but because it is a safety concern. For the price though, I'm not really complaining. The climate controls might look a bit generic, but they are very well put together and won't feel out of place in a more expensive car. I'm quite impressed by them. The front pews are rather impressive as well. Not only are they quite comfortable, but I get very good lower back support. I just wish that the headrests were height adjustable, especially for taller passengers and drivers. With the design dealt with, let's talk practicality, starting with the Celerio storage solutions. Well, if you forgive these credit card holders Suzuki called door pockets, it's actually quite impressive. The undampened glove box is of a decent size. You get a tray area underneath the stereo unit, a bigger tray area in front of the gear lever, 2 wide and deep cup holders, and a shallow tray underneath the handbrake, so make sure that the items under it is very thin. You also get a covered cup holder behind the handbrake and a tray area underneath the driver's air vent. That is very impressive indeed. Get in the back and I am very impressed with the amount of space back here. Foot room is good, knee room is very good, and there's enough headroom for an average size male adult. The seats are also nice and comfortable and the window line is very low. Not only that, the windows roll all the way down, which is great for children and adults alike. Storage is not good though. With the exception of a small door pocket, you have nothing. But hey, at least these door pockets are bigger than those in the front. Turning to the boot, it is quite a bit bigger than you might expect at 254 litres. It also comes equipped with a grocery hook and, amazingly, a full-size spare wheel. The rear bench folds flat, but only in one piece sadly. This also does result in a ridge that hinders through loading. Thankfully, that ridge isn't too high, and the same can be said about the boot lip. For its class, I'm impressed with its practicality. Driving around town, and the Celerio really impresses. All the controls are nice and light, the turning circle is extremely tight, and you have very good all-round visibility. The clutch action is very progressive, and the engine punches well above its weight, probably because the Celerio is so light. It is also very tiny, and power steering comes as standard, so parking and maneuvering around tight spaces won't be a problem at all. Out on the twisties, and considering this is a run-of-the-mill city runabout, again, the Suzuki impresses me. The steering is very direct, even though it's a bit numb, and body roll is kept in check to a great degree. Even the gearbox is quite slick. This is only relative to its rivals though. I have driven more exciting cars. Out on the open road, and the cracks are starting to show a bit. Road noise and tyre roar is prevalent, and the engine becomes rather audible at our national speed limit. This is to be expected at this price point though, so I wasn't expecting anything more. The seats are nice and comfortable, and you get a great view out. Overtaking will require some serious forward planning though, because the naturally aspirated 3-cylinder engine doesn't really have that mid-range oomph to overtake swiftly when the opportunity arises. Best to keep this a mid-distance cruiser at most, I'd say. Reliability-wise, the Suzuki performed really well, with the Celerio being the most reliable car in its class according to whatcar.com. It must be mentioned though that there was a recall regarding brake failure on earlier models, so make sure that your next car has had that fixed by a dealer. When it comes to its rivals, you have quite a few to choose from, one of which is oddly from Suzuki itself, the Espresso. It has the same engine as the Celerio, is slightly better equipped, and has a bigger boot. Its looks are slightly divisive though. Then there is the Hyundai Atos, which has a much longer warranty, a slightly stronger engine than that of the Celerio and better specs, but you pay quite a premium for it. The Renault Kwid is another very worthy contender. With its youthful looks and modern interior, it fits in with its target market very well. It also has a bigger boot and more convenience features. Again though, it is more expensive than the Celerio, which really is the theme with most of its rivals. The Celerio has flown under the radar locally, and I don't really think it deserves that. It is surprisingly inexpensive, which is great for our market. I wouldn't call it excellent value because it is sparsely equipped, but it is a capable city car that covers all the main bases, and for most people, that will be more than enough. Well done, Suzuki. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed the review, remember to give it a thumbs up as it makes a world of difference. If you own a Celerio, please comment down below on how your experiences are with it. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to my channel and get notified of upcoming videos. I have loads more coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye.